Islam, everyone, and welcome to our United States of America Republic Wednesday Open Forum with our President C. Cannon Bey, and I am your moderator, Kelowna Ill. And today is the 17th day in the month of January in the year, as they say, 2018. Before we actually start, what I'm going to do is bring on our Secretary of State, as usual, to provide us with our conference call etiquette and our rules of, is it Robert's Rules we'd like to say? So let's bring him on. Brother Secretary, you have the floor.
Islam to you, Madam Speaker. Islam brothers and sisters, welcome to another Wednesday night call. If you hear a little background in it, we're waiting for the heater to go off and pause for a second, and then we'll be good to go. But for the moment, I hope you hear my thunderous voice, and that way I can get communicate with you the right way. First of all, as always, we want to make sure that we have normal communications while we're doing our conference call. The process in which we go out and speak. And I want to thank my brothers and sisters because I'm noticing that throughout our other conference calls that we have called etiquette from these primary calls, it's really spreading about. So it's really something that we should always use, and that's called parliamentary procedures because Moors are the ones that invented it. We brought it about. It's in all the congresses of the world. It's in anywhere that you have a conference meeting, there's order from chaos. So parliamentary procedures from the Moors allows us to communicate and get what we want done, the tasks and goals at hand that we strive for. We can get them done by getting information across, and then that's executed afterwards. So we use the words Islam, that allows you to be seen and heard by the speaker, and she yields the floor to you, and you go ahead and speak, and then you yield the floor back. Of course, we're going to have point of interest. Point of interest is to speak on that topic. Make sure you are concise with your voice. I know we got some Mobitis on here that got some small voices, and we got some Mobitis on here with some heavy voices. And our brothers, same thing. I've heard some of you sound like mice. Come on, you got lions on your back, speak up. So make sure that point of interest is across there. She hears you, and then you yield the floor back. Got any background noises? Please mute your phone, *6 to mute your phone, or she will mute your phone totally so that we can still have our communications so that our president or whomever has the floor can speak. I hope everybody understands that. As time goes on, everybody will get it. Like I said, we've been in our other meetings, conferences, where the floor has been taken down that road, just like that in our communications and conference calls. So now, having said that, be cognitive of what we're speaking about, and make sure that your princes and princesses are muted out. We know that they always have something to say, and that should be untethered because they're children. They don't a lot of times know any better until you let them know that, okay? All right. Having said that, I'm going to yield the floor back to our Speaker of the House, or Speaker, Sister Kelowna L. I yield the floor back to you. Islam.
Islam, and thank you, Brother Secretary. I would like to say that as Moorish Americans, we've made a unique contribution in shaping the United States of America Republic, and it is a distinctive and blessed nation of people and citizens. And we are a people of deeply held religious convictions, springing from the Holy Scriptures of the Holy Quran, of the Moorish Science Temple of America, and the learning, teachings, and truth of the Holy Prophet Noble Drew Ali. And Noble Drew Ali, the Holy Prophet, led his people back to the principles and standards of their ancient forefathers, free national principles and standards. So you hear a combination of things there because it is a divine and national movement. But we surely as a people don't want to forget that the scriptures, the Holy Scriptures of the Holy Quran, of the Moorish Science Temple of America, and the Bible, and the Quran of Muhammad are the things that we actually do study. And we honor all prophets, Jesus, Buddha, Confucius, Muhammad, and that's the four. So what we're going to do is, before we get into our presentation, I wanted to open the floor quickly for a couple of questions that may be on the minds of some people who are very new to USAR. And so we want to have that session first and allow them to comfortably ask whatever question it is that you would like to ask of us. So let me yield and see if anyone has any questions. And don't be shy. Every question is important, no matter what level it is, because we're all learning together.
Hello.
Yes, Islam Brothers, you have the floor.
I got a question. After my question is after nationalizing and claiming your nationality, how do you go about work? Making finance.
The same way that you would be making it now, depending upon what you want to do. If you're working for a company, you can still work for that company if you wish. You just want to provide them with your new identification when you do receive it, so that they can now change their status, and there will be new forms to fill out so that they can now understand, like the I-9 form and the W-4 form. And also, if you wanted to work for yourself, so it doesn't really change. There's just maybe paperwork that needs to be done. Was that what you were thinking, brother?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And who is this?
Thank you. This is Michael Buford.
Okay. Islam, Brother Michael. And thank you for your question. Anyone else?
Islam.
Islam, sister, you have the floor.
Yes, thank you. My question is concerning renewing my passport. I, believe that it's probably best for me to go ahead and renew the passport that I have, seeing as USAR won't be ready to start issuing passports for, several months. And so the question that I have is that in doing the renewal and filling out the form, the paperwork associated with it, is there anything that I should be doing differently than what I did before, or should I be filling it out the same way? The name, the address, the whatever other information that they're asking. Is there anything that I should be doing differently? And I yield the floor.
You want to answer? Okay. I'm going to yield the floor to Brother Ross for this answer.
Sister Queen, Islam, first off. I'm going to say directly to you, until everything is set up, you have to do what you have to do to prosper for your household and your family. So I'm going to say that everybody is to stay in the position that they are until we get ours. Now, we do have our other, we have our driver's license, and we're updating things as we speak, because I've been working with another brother to get these things done. But it takes time and a minute to do those. So I would say that you still got to take care of your household. You got to do what you got to do. The word has been put out about gentlemen and as well as the women. If they hold a CDL license and that license brings you food into your home, that's what you got to do for the moment until we transition totally over and get those things all set up. But right now, it's a work in progress. So if you just be mindful with us, we'll work it out. But the answer would be this, straight up. You need that to do what you got to do. Then get your passport right now. That's all I can say to you until we get done with our work. And I'm working as fast as I can with another brother to get it done, as well as, actually, it's a few of us.
Point of interest?
Yeah, before.
So just for further clarity, when I'm filling out the paperwork on this passport, which I've had for several years, I should be showing my name to be the same, or should I be showing Bay or L?
Yes, I can answer that, Sister Queen. That's not a problem. Remember in the literature, we always, if we're doing something in our old name, we to handle that business in the old name. So we're not putting it any different because you're on their side using their identification at the moment. So we would be using the same names, because if you do anything different, you're probably going to have headaches or whatever, because they're going to be looking for whomever lines up with that Social Security number. So it would be the same thing, just so you can do your business. And when we get done, then we all move out of those things. As far as our passports go, when our stuff is up and running, then we're going to have L's and Bays on all of our stuff, period. Because that's that's the business that we're going to be taking care of in our government and not theirs. But if you're in old business and you're doing the duplicate, and that goes for anybody on this phone, if you're doing a duplicate, you got to bring fiat to your household. You got to feed your family. Do not do that to your family. You got to do what you got to do until this journey is done, or until the transitional period is completed. That's not just that's everybody on the phone. I yield the floor.
Thank you. That answers my question, and I yield the floor.
All right. Peace and love.
All right. Thank you. Anyone else have a question before we start our presentation with President Cannon Bay?
Oh, okay.
All right. Well, let's go ahead and...
Islam. This is Hill Bay.
Islam? Is that, you can say Brother Bryce?
Brother Hill Bay.
Hill Bay.
Yes. And my question is, how or who do I contact in order to get my live birth record, in order to get my nationality changed on it?
In order to get your nationality what?
To get the Negro black color off of my live birth record.
Have you had a chance to go to our website? UnitedStatesRepublic.us. Let me see what that is. Is that there? Yeah. Islam, so people who have background noise, can you mute your phone, please? There's live conversation.
Excuse me, I believe that's me. So.
Okay. You can keep your line open, of course, because you're asking a question. So, Brother Ilbay, well, I don't want to take the long route, but what makes you think that you have to do those things? Let's start there.
Well, I feel as if as long as they still have Negro, black, or colored on my live birth record, instead of my nationality, that I'm not forwarding myself.
But it is denoting the property. It's a certificate for the property that exists. You do understand that vessel is, and you would not want to have a birth certificate with your L or Bay, not L and Bay. Title.
No, it's not L and Bay. It's Hill, Hill, Hill.
Oh, I'm
Bay.
sorry. Okay. Yes, Hill Bay. Yes. So birth certificate that you would want would be from the nation that you, as a people, you and your people would be forming. That would be the proper birth certificate to get it issued from that particular state. The one that you currently have, you know the details behind it, if you will, in terms of it being the certificate for the property that exists, the warehouse receipt, whatever you want to call it. Why would you want your real name, your real person name, your natural name and title on that document? You wouldn't, is what I'm trying to say.
Well, I'm following the prophet. I did not take away the so-called, or what we call the slave name. I just added my nationality base onto the end of it.
So that was on to what, your birth certificate, or to another document?
Well, not on the live birth record, but I enter it on all other documents.
So all other documents?
I don't mean documents. It's the name that I go by now. So anytime I sign my name now, the end is Bay.
So you include your title on the end of your name?
Correct.
Okay. I don't see a problem with what you're doing in terms of operating as a Moorish American in your free national name. Are you part of USAR?
I have just started. I'm a fresh study, fresh person in. I don't know a lot of people, and I have been talking to Dexter Bay a little bit about what I'm trying to do and get formed here.
Okay, perfect. It is a little bit of a learning process, and so once you do join, you'll be able to attend our Monday night Law Task Force, where we learn more about how to operate as Moorish Americans and changing over the jurisdiction slowly but surely, eliminating contracts with them and getting contracts with ourselves. So it's not an overnight thing, but I would highly suggest that anyone who is new to United States of America Republic take a look at our website, which is United States Republic.
I know. I do have the website. And I've been over the website, and I've been over the Black's Law Dictionary. I've done several things with it.
Okay, so UnitedStatesRepublic.us is the website name. And I was just doing it for anyone else, brother, who might be on the line. Okay. And so, yeah, that's a good education. And then we do have our USARlaws.info. So that's USARLAWS.info, so that we can see the laws that we're passing and get familiar with those.
Okay.
The 615, was that you, Brother Hilbay?
No, that I'm good. I'm listening in now.
All right. So as you progress and you want to hear more, the Wednesday calls are always open. And as we receive your information, we'll be able to communicate more. So if you want someone to talk to, as you said, you have already spoken to Dexter and you're kind of learning through him. So that's a great thing. And anything else anyone else can help you or him with, just let us know. So that's a no to the birth certificate. Going back to your question, just to reiterate. And okay. It's a matter of understanding why. The instrument is not something that you want to change or alter. You just want to be able to have one with your own nation state that truly identifies you.
Okay.
All right. Thank you for your question, too.
You're welcome, and thank you for the information.
Islam.
Islam, more.
And anyone else have any questions? Okay. Well, President Canabay, are you with us? I see you.
Islam.
All right. Islam. Let me make you presenter. And, all right, you have the floor. Everyone, this is our President, Christopher H. Canabay. Islam.
Islam. Okay, before we get started, I want to ask everybody a question. I just want to ask people, what are their opinions about gang members? What do they think about gang members?
Me, myself, personally.
Anybody.
This is
What's your opinion about gang members?
And me, myself, personally, this is Hill Bay.
There's a brother who is... Okay.
Okay, I don't know where we're at now.
There was a brother who was answering, and then another brother came in and said Islam. So the brother who was speaking, who was answering, you go first, and then we'll bring the other brother back.
Okay, this is Hill Bay, and I don't agree with the gang mentality.
Can you repeat the question, Canabay?
I said, what do people, what are their concept, or what do they think about gang members? How do you view them in society? What's your overtake of them?
Islam.
Islam, you have the floor, brother. And who is that? Please?
This is Brother Aaron Hill, province of Texas.
You have the floor.
As far as gang members go, if you look at the diaspora of where they come from and how they exist, number one, you know, our families as a structure have been has been broken in the past. So we have family members, you know, males or females incarcerated, so we have broken homes. These individuals that go out and get involved in these gangs are looking for family. They're looking for acceptance. They're looking for belonging to something. Because what the past has done to us as a people has separated us in so many different ways. When you look at gang members, when you look at, you know, they're out there dealing these drugs, them are young entrepreneurs. And some of them are very effective if they had guidance. You see what I'm saying? So there's a structure in gang life, you know, a hierarchy, if you will, just like government. There's you know, when you start talking finance again, and you know, we can look at all of the negatives of gang life, the violence and all of these things, but if, again, those things were guided differently and shown correctly from a governmental standpoint and a belonging standpoint to a nation of people, your own people, then gang life is no different than regular life. It's a culture. You see what I'm saying? So, again, on any playing field, on any game, if you don't know the rules and regulations to that game, you can't advance. You can't win. Islam, I yield the floor.
Okay, that was great, brother.
Islam.
You still have the floor.
Been running out there in that cold.
There was another brother that was you. Okay, Brother Ross has the floor.
Got a line open that's not talking. If somebody said Islam, you got the floor.
Islam, President. I was going to say I agree with everything the brother said, except I wanted to go back and look at the time frame at which the gangs were brought in to protect the communities. And so they did have a foundation of that from our understanding when I was coming up, that they protected the community, just like the brother said. But as time went on, they went away and came up with their own agenda, which was a lot different than what the original was to protect community and our families and friends.
Islam, bro. I can hear you, but it's a background noise. Somebody got their line.
All right.
Okay, go ahead, Ross.
I was just going to say I agree with I do have some background noise there, President, with the fan. You know about that. But, okay, I'll just use my regular phone. Okay, I just wanted to say I do agree with the brother, but I said when you fast forward it to where we're at now, I think they done got away with the core values of a gang. The gangs used to protect, from when I was coming up, they used to protect the communities. If you take position of looking at the Panthers did have these type of things, economics, culture, and all of those things, where they protected the community. And even a lot of the gangs that I seen when I was coming up that wasn't the Panthers, it was the same thing. But I think we done got away from that a lot with what's been implemented. You know, when people's personal agendas have been brought into the gangs, you know, they have a different role that they're traveling. So that I think is detrimental in a lot of ways to our communities right now, because the message to help us out is not unified. I yield the floor.
I know. You coming to? What's wrong with you? You cold too.
Yes, that's it. All right. So, you know, it's some things about gangs that I know a lot of people don't know and are totally unaware of, and we're going to get into that right now. And this applies to every gang as far as in so-called Negro, color, black, or African-American culture. This applies to every gang in so-called Negro, color, black, or African-American culture, because majority of your gangs started in Chicago and was branched out from Chicago to other cities and other states. But the base root of them came from Chicago. So it's a reason why the Honorable Prophet Noble Drew Ali left Newark, New Jersey and came to Chicago, because the people in Chicago, even back then, was more organized and could accept the lessons that he was teaching much better than those in Newark, New Jersey. So this is the reason why he left and came to Chicago. The people were much faster paced and quicker, which shows even now still to this day. Okay, you see right here, this is one of the gangs in Chicago called the Unknown Vice Lords on the west side of Chicago. And their leader-in-chief was this guy right here in the red jacket named Willie Lloyd. This is King Neal. He was the king of traveling vice lords. This brother right here, name was Angelo. He was a chief of Four Corner Hustlers. You see this book cover right here, say Nation of Lords, the autobiography of the vice lords. This guy right here is Tukey. Everybody know Tukey, founded by 16-year-old Stanley Tukey Williams in Los Angeles, California. Crips are known to have an intense rivalry with the Bloods and Mexican street gangs. They also have an ongoing struggle with the Vice Lords from Memphis, Tennessee. They were first called Crips, and the name Crips was first introduced in L.A. in an L.A. newspaper, where it is rumored to have been spelled wrong. It's another picture of Tukey. This is Jeff Ford. Jeff Ford, born February 20th, 1947, is a former Chicago gang leader, co-founder of the Black Peastone Gang, and founder of its El Rookin faction. He was convicted in 1987 of conspiring with Libya to perform acts of domestic terrorism. Jeff Fort was born on February 20, 1947 in Aberdeen, Mississippi. He moved with his family to the Woodlawn neighborhood in the south side of Chicago in 1955. He dropped out of school after the 4th grade. Fort spent time at Cook County Temporary Juvenile Detention Center and at the Illinois State Training School for Boys in St. Charles, where he met Eugene Bull Harrison around 1959. Fort and Harrison formed the Blackstone Rangers gang at St. Charles. The Blackstone Rangers comprised youth from the Blackstone Avenue area of Woodlawn, assembled to defend themselves against other gangs in the South Side. Harrison was the gang's leader, with Fort as second in command. The Rangers fought rival gangs, especially the Devil's Disciples. During the early 1960s, Fort earned the nickname Angel for his ability to solve disputes and form alliances between the Rangers and other gangs. By the mid-1960s, Fort assembled a coalition of 21 gangs with about 5,000 members. He organized the coalition under a governing body called the Main 21, composed of 21 gang leaders or generals. As the Ranger organization grew, it became involved in community and political activism. The gang also received support from Presbyterian minister Reverend John Fry, who advised Harrison and Fort how to manage their organization. Under Reverend Fry's guidance, Fort obtained a charter from the state of Illinois to form a political organization, Grassroots Independent Voters of Illinois. In 1967, Fort's organization applied for and received a U.S. $1 million federal grant from the now defunct Office of Economic Opportunity to fund a program to teach job skills to gang members. The Rangers also received grants and loans from private foundations. Unlike many gangs, the Blackstone Rangers were not considered outsiders, but had been largely accepted by Chicago society, with Jeff Fort even receiving an invitation from President Richard Nixon following the 1968 election to attend the 1969 inaugural ball. Fort declined this invitation, sending his top man, Mickey Caldwell, and one of his generals in his stead to the 1969 inauguration. Black P. Stone Nation. After Harrison was imprisoned in 1966, Fort assumed command of the Rangers. By 1968, he renamed it to the Almighty Black P. Stone Nation, or Black P. Stones. The Stones engaged in robberies, extortion, and forced recruitment, while also acting to keep order in the South Side. The Stones also gained control of Vice in the South Side, demanding protection payments from prostitution operations and drug dealers. In 1968, the Jobs program came under investigation amid accusations that grant money was diverted to criminal activities. Fort was subpoenaed to testify before a Senate committee. Fort introduced himself at the committee hearing and walked out. For this, he was convicted of contempt of Congress. In 1972, Fort and two others were convicted of misusing federal funds, and Fort was sentenced to 5 years in prison. Fort served 2 years at the United States Penitentiary Leavenworth and was paroled in 1976. During his time in Leavenworth, Fort converted to Islam and assumed the name Prince Malik. After his release from prison in 1976, he moved to Milwaukee, Wisconsin, and joined the Moorish Science Temple. Fort then renamed the Black P. Stones to the El Rukn tribe of the Moorish Science Temple, El Rukn being Arabic for pillar. In 1978, Fort returned to Chicago. In a coup, he replaced the Stones' 21 generals with 5 close allies and renamed the Black P. Stone Nation to El Rukn. Law enforcement speculated the conversion motive. Hold on one second. conversion motive was to take advantage of restrictions on law enforcement surveillance over religious organizations. During the 1970s, the gang trafficked it in cocaine and heroin. In 1983, Fort was convicted of drug trafficking charges and sentenced to 13 years in prison. He was sent to the Federal Correction Institution at Bastrop, Texas. Fort continued to lead El Rukn through daily telephone calls from prison. He ordered members of El Rukn to meet with Libyan officials. The gang agreed to commit terrorist acts in the U.S. in exchange for U.S. $2.5 million. In 1987, Fort was tried and convicted for conspiring with Libya to perform acts of domestic terrorism by use of COINTELPRO type methods. He was sentenced to 80 years imprisonment and transferred to the USP. Marion, the federal supermax prison in Marion, Illinois. In 1988, Fort was also convicted of ordering the 1981 murder of a rival gang leader and was sentenced to 75 years in prison to be served after the completion of his terror conspiracy sentence. Fort was transferred to the newly opened ADX Florence Supermax Prison in Florence, Colorado in 2006 and remains there as of 2009, being under a no human contact order since his arrival. So after that article, I just put one of the prophet's statements. The holy prophet Noble Ali said, "You tore up everything that was bought to you, but I bought you something that you can't tear up. It would tear you up." And I want y'all to really understand that right now we're forming and establishing our government. And I want y'all to just really listen to what Jeff Fort was able to accomplish without an actual government here. He actually established international relations with another nation outside of this country. He actually got invited to an inauguration, a presidential inauguration. He actually got taken before Congress. This is showing the power that he was able to achieve following lessons of the Moorish Science Temple of America and following the lessons of the prophet. Now, we know that the COINTELPRO program, you know, a lot of times with our people, they had one objective, and that was to tear down the leaders and the people that they felt could help establish us back as a nation of people. So that's something to keep in mind. You know, I don't know if this man did what they say he did, but I know this: he been in no human contact order since 2009. That's almost 10 years. That's inhumane. That's a violation of human rights. It's one thing to keep somebody locked up, but for them not to have any human contact, that's something different. In the Bible it says that man wasn't meant to be alone, so God gave and created him a woman just so he wouldn't be alone. So just imagine you going 24 hours a day for 10 years with no human contact. That's, we have to begin to understand. It's, we have to really get things in order in this country so that we can come into power, so we can change some of the things that's being done here. So I just wanted to bring that up. So now the CBLs was on the west side of Chicago. And as you see on this picture right here, this is what the gang members used to look like at one time. They look like this. And you see what that say? Outside the CBL Inc. And in the Jeff Fort, in the article I was reading about Jeff Fort, they once again told you that they incorporated. So it's showing you about incorporating. It's power in incorporating. And we're gonna get to it. I'm gonna keep breaking this down so y'all can get a real understanding of why I'm doing this lecture. It's another picture of the vice lords. Look how they dress. These look like our cousins, uncles, brothers, nephews, because they are. They're regular people. Even girls are in gangs. Look at the brothers right here. What them shirts say? Love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Harmony and understanding. These gang members. Look at the brother over here. He got half moons and a 5-point star on his hat. Now this is who started the vice lords. And you see they used to have actual press conferences. It's another picture of some of the founders of vice lords. And here they are in the neighborhood. Look at their sweatshirts. Okay, these are tags. These different gang tags. Look at them closely. Look how they look. Now watch this. That's no different than this. They just call theirs government seals. It's no different than this. No different. And look at this one. Look at this one. That's us. That's us, the European chosen. We the people. Look, they call themselves people. Abraham Lincoln said this: we the people are the rightful masters of both Congress and the courts, not to overthrow the Constitution, but to overthrow the men who pervert the Constitution. Again, these are gang signs and symbols. You'll see the hat. They say that means shelter. The cane means strength. The gloves mean purity. Champagne glass, conservative. It really means celebration. 5-pointed star, love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. They got it misspelled right there. The eye, Allah watch over us. 360-degree circle, knowledge all round. Half moons, people east, people west. The conservative vice lords of Lawndale, for example, did not fulfill the stereotype of a violent and lawless group in the context of the Black Power movement. The CVL sought to improve their community through youth projects, mentoring schemes, and street cleaning operations, gaining federal funds for their efforts. The leaders of the CVL, however, were arrested and convicted on falsified evidence. For more information, you can go to this, http://www.gangresearch.net. Look at these guys right here. They look like some of our grandfathers. Some of your uncles, some of your father's uncles. All these ex-gang members. What do a gang member really look like? Who are these people? Why are they painted so bad in the society today? So now, up under this, you see this right here. I put this general provision. This is from Illinois. It's on oaths and affirmations, and it says, whenever any person shall be required to take an oath before he enters upon the discharge of any office, place, or business, or on any other lawful occasion, it shall be... Can you mute everybody, Kelowna, so I get through?
Yes, I can. Bear with me with you.
Okay. Or on any other lawful occasion, it shall be lawful for any person and administer the oath to administer it in the following form, to wit, the person swearing shall, with his hand uplifted, swear by the ever-living God, and shall not be compelled to lay the hand on or kiss the Gospels. This right here is an example showing you that, yeah, church and state are separated, but they still intertwine because state gains its power and authority direct from God. The state gains its power direct from God. And they're showing you right in Illinois laws that these people are honoring God. The naturalization oath of allegiance to the United States of America. I hereby declare on oath that I absolutely and entirely renounce and abjure all allegiance and fidelity to any foreign prince, potent state, or sovereignty. So again, to become a United States citizen, one must take an oath. This is the oath of office for if you got a seat in government in Illinois. Hold on one second. If you take a seat in government in the state of Illinois, this is the oath that you would take. State of Illinois do solemnly swear or affirm that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the state of Illinois, and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of the office. Now look at this. Almighty Vice Lord Nation. Oath. As a righteous representative of the Almighty Vice Lord Nation, I, Lord John Doe, solemnly swear with my life to never dishonor our most sacred weapon, meaning Lord Unity. Nor under the threat of death will I deny those who stand beside me, nor will I be denied. As a righteous representative of the Almighty Vice Lord Nation, I, Lord John Doe, solemnly swear with my life to listen well to all truthful teachings of the most wise and beloved elites and supreme elites. Upon incarceration, I will serve my time constructively, so that upon my release, I will be useful to myself and my community as a whole. Let Allah bear witness to this solemn oath by unity, birth, and spirit, through and throughout the hardcore. I come as I am as I come, Almighty. Corinthians 1:13-11. When I was a child, I talked like a child. I thought like a child. I reasoned like a child. When I became a man, I put the ways of childhood behind me. So we are now, and a lot of people that was in gangs are adults now. And so they moved on from being gang members, but they still have a lot of the knowledge that was embedded in them during their childhood, embedded into their fabric of understanding about unity and being a nation. So now we're in this time, following the prophet's footsteps, and we got a new oath. And this is the oath of the United States of America Republic, our state government. So once we put away those childish things and we become men, now it's time that when we took an oath back then, being in the gang, we took an oath to the gang to be a member of the gang. Now we need to take an oath to be members of and citizens of our nation state. The Holy Quran chapter, I think that's 43, I think. When thou givest an oath, when thou swearest thou wilt not deceive, behold it, spread its shame upon thy face, and upon the face of him that receiveth it. Learn to be just, and repentance may be forgotten. Learn to be honest, and oaths are unnecessary. This is out the Holy Quran of Noble Drew Ali, of the Prophet. He's basically telling you, when you take an oath, make sure you uphold the oath that you take, because if you don't, it not only make you look bad, but it make who you took the oath to look bad. If you would learn to uphold what you say, then oaths would be unnecessary. There won't be a need for you to take an oath, because your word would be your bond. Okay. Now this is some Vice Lord literature. I want y'all to listen to this, because a lot of this is going to start sounding very familiar. This is the golden 5-point star. We all know that our God, our goal, is to obtain 360 degrees of knowledge, of Lordism. Each point of our golden star represents 72 degrees of knowledge. Whether it's the love to contribute my heart and honesty to the Almighty Vice Lord Nation, truth to never be dishonest to any member who represents this 5-pointed star, peace to keep peace and harmony with any members who rep the 5-point star. Freedom is what I was born with and will always have. My mind is my freedom, all 360 degrees. Justice to be able to accept and carry out any violation that's appointed to me as a representative of this golden 5-point star. Each point of the 5-point star is 72 degrees of knowledge. 72 times 5 times 5 equals 360 degrees of knowledge. Now take each point 72. 7 plus 2 equals 9, which represents life. Why? Because we were carried in our mother's womb for 9 months. The 7 represents every day of the week that we live, Vice Lord. The 2 represents VL man, second VL woman. As a VL man, we need our queen. A Vice Lord woman is like a jewel that reflects light. Without light, we are living darkness. Once VL man obtains 360 degrees of knowledge, one must ask self, what do I do now that I am Vice Lord? The answer, your character reflect for the next generation. Codes of conduct. Respect is to be given at all times to all representatives and peoples of the 5-point star, and even to those that are not a part of the organization, peons. Disrespect is a serious violation of our principles and will be judged as such. It will not be tolerated. Discipline is a must and must be displayed at all times, mentally and physically. Lack of discipline could be detrimental to a representative or other reps or the nation as a whole. Any order given pertaining to nation business is of utmost importance. Failure to be disciplined will result in disciplinary actions. 3, meeting goals are held to discuss nation business. During the meetings, the highest ranking in command will state the reason for the meeting. Whoever is speaking, all others should be quiet. Failure to do so will result in immediate violation. Fighting is the obligation of every lord to defend himself at all times, as to any other lord. To the extent of death, no rep shall place himself or another in needless place fights. No rep of the nation, no matter the rank, no one is to fight unless authorized to do so. Dues. All dues must be paid. Without money, organization cannot operate. 5 element laws of Vice Lord. 1, love. You must love your nation. Have love and show love toward the members in your nation. Love what your nation stands for and represents, and love the goal your nation is trying to establish. Truth. You must be truthful to the nation. Give truth within the nation. Show truth to members of the nation. For those who are untrue are not righteous. Peace. You must maintain peace within the nation. Give peace to members who are a part of the nation, and show peace to those who show respect by not opposing the nation. Hold on. Freedom. You must have freedom within the nation. Give freedom to yourself and members who are part of the nation, and give freedom to others to do as they please. For no man owns another. 5, justice. You must have justice within the nation. Justify those who are part of our nation and show justice to those who oppose our nation. Walaikum as-salam. In the name of Almighty Allah, most gracious, most merciful, praise to the cherisher and sustainer of all the worlds. The point of love, we as the Vice Lord Nation must show love to our fellow lords through good and evil. You know, it is Allah's will and way. When I read that, you know, you have to understand this is what Noble Ali is speaking about when they say we have a higher self and a lower self. They say through good and evil, higher self and lower self. The point of truth, we as Vice Lords must have truth. Hold on. Within ourselves, our word is bond. Without truth, we can have no love, peace, freedom, or justice. The point of peace, we as vice lords must at all times have peace within ourselves. The point of freedom, point of no return. As vice lords, we must survive as our forefathers of time. If I have nothing, I will have my freedom. The point of justice, we as vice lords must always uphold our law, beliefs. If any are violated, justice must be served. The 5-point star: love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Love, respect, and love of Allah's people the same. Do this begin to kind of sound religious? Why is these gang members talking about Allah and Allah's people? Why is they talking about love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice? Why is these they 5 points? Number 2, truth, to be faithful to the people under the name of Allah. Peace, we must have peace among ourselves and our fellow brothers. Freedom, we have the freedom to speak the word of Allah to all the fellow brothers. Justice, when the word ends, only the nation of Allah will be left standing, just us. The prophet's lessons from the 101s. Now they're telling you the 5-point stars: love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Key 19 from the 101s. What kind of flag is the Moorish? It is a red flag with a 5-pointed green star in the center. What do the 5-pointed points represent? Love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. How old is our flag? It is over 10,000 years old. You know, when I read this, I can see clearly that these gang chiefs took things from the prophet's lessons and embedded them into what they was presenting to the people many years later, over 50 years later. They done took the prophet's lessons and enshrouded them and then embedded them into the gang literature. So to me, they took divine lessons and teachings both by our prophet, put it in the gang literature, and it begins, when you really start thinking about it, it begins to show you why the gangs in Chicago grew to be so big. Because embedded in the very things that they were being taught, they were actually being taught the prophet's lessons, but changed around a bit. So, what is Lordism? It is a philosophy, ideology, and guidelines of a chosen way of life, a lodestone made manifest through primitive teachings of its devoted believers from various schools of thought and to the structure of today. What is the philosophy of Lordism? We believe in authenticity and the sight of God, but we don't believe any one religion can claim him exclusively. We believe all men are equal in the sight of God, and the righteous vice lord will be the recipient of God's grace, the same as other religious people, regardless of the religious persuasion. The Quran says man was put here to be vicegerents. We take it as man was put here to be vice lords in this physical world. The prophet's lessons. Key 17. What is our religion? Islamism. Why is they calling they stuff Lordism? Where they get this ism from to even say Lordism? That's what they believe in, Lordism. I mean, anybody can see that they're taking things from Noble Drew Ali, from the Honorable Prophet's teachings, and using it in a different way to accomplish what they were trying to accomplish during their period in time, instead of just teaching the people the Prophet's lessons. Okay, vice means having faults. The human being and being second in impotence to Allah. God being ruler of all the worlds and the universe, and man was selected by him to be his vice lord or vice ruler of the physical world. We see ourselves as God's highest creation, his custodians. So whether you address yourself as Baptist, Christian, etc., by definition of which you are defined, you are still a vice lord. The only difference is your interpretation and acceptance. Lordism is the religion of vice lords. We are not religious fanatics, The Holy Quran and all other religious books tell man to take the bounties of the earth. We interpret this as a sign man should always improve his life's condition. A vice lord should strive to balance himself spiritually, materially, physically, and mentally. Man seeks to promote himself in the sight of God, yet still has needs in the physical world. 5. A lord is a seeker of truth. Lordism encompasses every facet of life. It acknowledges the existence of God in people, and it acknowledges every person's right to communicate with him. It is a complete way of life involvement with both God and state, and belief in one true God whose proper name is Allah, and associate no partners with him. Now, for those that's in the government that understand the separation of church and state, is this gang literature not making a distinction in church and state right here? It says, let me read it again. It is a complete way of life involvement with both God and state. And state. They're letting you know it's two sides. It's two sides. We gotta honor our God and our religion, and we must also honor this material world, this physical world, this plane manifest in flesh. We have to honor that side of it too. And on that side of it is state. Key 6, a lord will stuff any religious book and use them selectively as reference points and guidelines, as long as it will contribute to his development, but always in the mind frame that man and not God is author of such books. Everything in print deals with the relative truth and not the absolute. Absolute truth are the things that the highest reason man understands them. But still, out of all books, people tend to favor the Holy Quran. This is the nationality card issued by the Prophet. Now, let me go back for a second. Listen to what they're saying right here. They're saying that a vice lord will stuff any religious book and use them selectively as reference points and guidelines. So basically, isn't that another way of saying that they study all the prophets? Hold on one second. They're saying that they study all the prophets. All the religious books come from a different prophet. What do Noble Ali have on the back of the nationality card? That we what? We honor all the divine prophets, Jesus, Muhammad, Buddha, and Confucius. May the blessings of the God of our Father, Allah. Right? Key 7. Why does a Lord tend to favor the Holy Quran? We believe that there is knowledge to be gained even from the Bible, but only after the strenuous process of shifting through its maze. On the other hand, regardless of fixation or relative truth that we automatically apply, we still find the Holy Quran the best book for our people. It corresponds with our way of thinking and is supportive to our way of life. But we still are vice lords, not Muslims. There exists that degree and that difference, even though a lot of lords are Muslims and Christians. But as a whole, we are no Muslims. Hold on one second. You know, it's very saddening that street gangs don't care about if you Christian or Muslim. Listen to what they're saying. They say a lot of vice lords are Muslims and Christian, even though they themselves, being vice lords, are not Muslim or Christian. So they're kind of acting like the state. They're acting like a real nation right here. They're saying, look, it don't matter if you're a vice lord or a Christian. We vice lords, we're a nation. But why is it today that in Morris Science Temple we having this issue and this problem Why is our people, the so-called Negro, Colored, Black, African American, having an issue or problem with our people that's Muslims and our people that's Muslims having a problem with our people that's Christians? Now, the thing is, what we have to do is put all that behind us, because that's on the religious side. The state allows us to put all that on the side and behind us to see past those differences that you're a Christian and I'm a Muslim or a Muslim. It puts all that to the side for us to be able to say we part of the same nation. How about that? We ain't going to argue about our religious differences, but let's all be citizens under this state government. How about that? We can all, you can stay a Christian, you can stay a Muslim, he can stay part of the Nation of Islam, he can stay a Black Panther, this person can stay part of Black Lives Matter, but we all going to be citizens under one state government to gain what we need to gain as one nation. Okay. Now, this is from Vice Lord Literature. It's a holy day. Friday was the day the first man was made in the flesh, and on Friday, the first man descended out of flesh unto his Father God Allah. And you see, I put right here the Divine Constitution, written by Noble Drew Ali, written by the prophet. And Act 3 says the exact same thing. They took this word from the Divine Constitution and put it in their literature. And put it in the literature of Vice Lords, that Friday is the holy day. Friday was the day the first man was made in flesh, and on a Friday the first man descended out of flesh unto his Father God Allah. Right here, Act 2, clear as day. Over here it say, with us all members must proclaim their nationality, and we are teaching our people their nationality and divine creed. Right? Now look what the Vice Lords say on this next part. Almighty creed. Upon my life, I swear to uphold the nationality of my brothers, whether it be physically, morally, or socially. Why is Vice Lords even talking about nationality? Now, this is a big eye-opener to let you know. They done took the prophet's lessons. They done took his lessons. This is why the Vice Lords in the city of Chicago grew to be so big, because they implemented the divine lessons of the Moorish Science Temple of America into their literature. And if they could take these divine lessons and grow to be so big where they're in multiple states, you're going to tell me now that we have a state government, if we follow these same lessons, the lessons of the prophet, and we do what we supposed to do the way he said, practice love, true peace, freedom, and justice, keep our minds and hearts pure with love and our bodies clean with water, that we cannot elevate as a nation of people? That we cannot elevate as a nation of people? This is the statement of love. This is more Vice Lord literature. Listen to what it says. For you, my brother, my love for you begins at birth and has manifested its way throughout our heritage because of our skin color, which is black. I am you, you are me. Our minds are for the same cause, our efforts for the same goals, our life for a new nation. Our souls are bound for the same destination. For the cause, I give you my unity and vitality. For you, I give my undying love. What nation is they talking about? Now, we can say they're talking about the Vice Lord nation, but that ain't the nation Noble Drew Ali was talking about. He's talking about the United States of America Republic, our real nation. Our real nation. And you see right here, they say Vice Lords, Chicago's largest gang. If they, hold on one second. Taking bits and pieces of the divine lessons and teachings of Noble Drew Ali and implementing them into their literature, and this is how they grew to become and be recognized as Chicago's largest gang. You mean to tell me that we can't become a nation again? Jeff Ford achieved international communication with other nations. He entered on an international level and playing field again. You're going to tell me that we as a people can't re-enter into the international community again and talk to foreign diplomats and foreign officials of other countries and presidents of other countries? He did it way back in the 70s. We all the way in the 2000s. The prophet said in the 2000s the Moors going to come into their own. You still ain't talking to no other presidents or no other countries? Okay, Kelowna, you can unmute. That's the end of the presentation. I just want to say that, you know, we have to begin to see ourselves bigger than what we are. And we have to really start using the prophet's lessons. This is why the prophets say from out of Sunday school comes the guidance of the nation. Because once you embed loyalty, allegiance to each other, once you embed these lessons that he brought us as a people in the Holy Quran, not the Quran of Muhammad, but the Holy Quran that he divinely prepared for our salvation, it changed your thinking pattern, because African Americans don't have unity with one another. They don't have allegiance to one another. And most important of all, they don't have a nationality, like the Vice Lords was saying, to defend their brother's nationality. Upon my life, I swear to uphold the nationality of my brothers. They have no nationality for no one to uphold. So Noble Ali brought us our nationality. And it's time that we start upholding our brother's nationality, even at the threat of death. Islam, I yield slow.
Islam. Great presentation. Islam, are there any comments or questions anyone would like to make? And please be aware of the background noise. There's a 757 number. I'm just going to mute you and then let you know that you can star 6 to unmute. Okay. Well, interesting information, Canterbury. A lot of stuff that I didn't personally know. And there's a structure that you keep reiterating that you want people to understand and get, that was embedded into the minds of these people as children. And so, as you see, as you've shown that they've also grown up to a level of, okay, they must have this still instilled in them, like yourself. So there's a structure that is there, always looking for the structure that needs to be there. And plus, they had to be taught by Noble Drew Ali, or trying to continue his teaching. Even like you say, they didn't have a nation. It was probably lost at that time. People didn't know the details. They weren't being taught Moorish American as their nationality. So, thank you. I'll yield the floor. Anyone else have any?
You know that Noble Drew Ali said that the Moorish Science Temple of America would damn near fade out of existence. So I'm just going to say that it basically faded out of existence, but not the lessons. And some of the gang members, the chiefs that started the gangs, kept the lessons and then embedded those lessons into the gang literature, because they probably couldn't find a Moorish Science Temple to go to, because they had really almost faded out of existence. The sheiks did their job, though. They kept the doors to the Moorish Science Temple of America open, like he said. They did their job, which was to keep them doors open. Because if they didn't do their job and keep the doors open, right now we might not, I might not even be a Moorish American right now if it weren't for the sheiks keeping the doors to the temple open. So, we have to begin to understand that Noble Drew Ali set seeds in place. He planted seeds that's supposed to sprout one day. And these seeds are sprouting now, today. And so people got to understand that this man is a prophet sent by Allah to redeem his people from their fallen and sinful ways. And we have to begin to understand. Moors in the Moorish Science Temple of America, as well as those outside the temple, have to understand that sin is a transgression of the law. He came to redeem you from transgressing against the law. You have to understand that. Islam, I yield the floor.
And that's a big sentence too. That really is. That means a lot. That should hit hard, because then you kind of understand parts of what a prophet is here for. And so, looking at what he's said throughout the oral statements, you know, people will start to put two and two together of what he was talking about in the future and why he was a prophet. I yield. Anyone else have any comments or questions? So, Canabe, do you plan on making are these notes, personal notes that you were just using for the presentation, or is this something that you wanted to make accessible to others?
It was just notes for this presentation.
All right.
Yeah, there was just notes for this presentation.
Okay. So, if anyone would like to make a comment, please feel free.
Islam,
you have the floor.
this is a perfect presentation for getting through to a lot of gang members. Just the fact that the connection is there to spark an interest in, look, this is what you've been, taking your oath to and pledging to, and this comes from over here.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So, yeah, Islam, this is a beautiful, beautiful presentation. I see it.
And that's
very useful.
I apologize, but
I yield the floor.
Yeah. I agree with you on what you're saying. Very much so. And I know Canabe has said that before. That's where our warriors are. And if they were to see this kind of connection and make that connection, that could be pretty powerful, that they would be coming in and also learning the divine side and learning truly how to channel that energy towards what needs to be, done. I yield.
Islam, they've been fighting in the streets, fighting over blocks in the communities, fighting over blocks in neighborhoods, and the European has just tricked them. They've been fighting over blocks in neighborhoods, giving their lives, dying in these streets, and have failed to realize, man, the whole country is yours. The whole country is yours. Wake up. You willing to give your life over a street corner, but you ain't willing to give your life for your nation as a whole?
Yeah.
Come on, I'm telling you, these gang members, a lot of them, they die hard. They die hard. And, I want people that have never been in the game before, I want them to understand too. This presentation ain't just for those that's in the game, so that they can see that everything they represent and what they've been taught comes from the prophet, but it's even for those that have not been in the game, so that they can see and understand loyalty and allegiance. And what that flag do, that red flag, that 5-point star, what it does. I could go to jail in another city when I was in the street gang. I could go to jail in another city. Never been in that city before in my life. Go to jail, and if it's vice lords in there, guess what? If somebody tried to jump on me in that jail, if they call themselves going to try to hurt me or whatever, do you know it would be guys in there willing to die with me, that's going to stand with me, and possibly would lose their life, and possibly would commit murder for me to protect me? That comes from loyalty to a flag. That comes from principles. That comes from things they've been taught and that's been embedded in them. All I got to do is go in there and wave the flag that they're part of, that they recognize as their nation. We got to get them to recognize this red flag with this green 5-point star on it, that this the flag that they should be ready to die for, that they should be ready to kill for, this flag here. Not that gang stuff. That's for children. It's time to put away that. time to become a man now. Become a man. When you become a man, your nation, the United States of America, that land of America is your nation. You got to stand for that. You got to stand for that to leave something for your children. And look, you can see right here, and they even had, listen to what they said. They said, for you, my brother, my love for you begins at birth and has manifested its way throughout our heritage because of our skin color, which is black. They know not to even acknowledge themselves as black. Why are so many people right now still calling themselves black? Even these gang members, the vice lord, these gang members don't even acknowledge themselves as black. They say because of our skin, which is black, our skin color, which is black. They don't identify themselves as being black. Islam, I give a slow.
Point of interest. So, looking at it overall and what you're presenting, and seeing that most of our brothers who were in the gang are in jail, is there, I have to ask this because I know I've heard you say it before, one of the things that we want to eventually get to the point of doing is assisting our brothers and sisters that are locked up. So would that be more on the Moorish Science Temple side, that the sheiks and so forth should be taking responsibility for, or is there something planned on the USAR's side in order to visit the jails, teach about nationality? Because I know they have,
the sheiks should actually be going into the jails teaching more science. Now, in all actuality, in federal prison, more science is all through the federal prison system. All through it. Okay? And some of your best Moors come from the prison system. And when they come from the prison system, they come to the street and they see how the temples are being ran versus how the temples is being ran in prison, they be heartbroken. It's like night and day. It's like night and day. I'm telling you. They're more disciplined, more everything in prison. They're more on their studies. They're more on they dean. Put it that way. You know? So it's a thing that the sheiks, and I'm going to give you a prime example, in county jails, there is no more science. But guess what? You can still go to Catholic service or Christian service, but you can go to Muslim service in county jail. But why ain't no more science temple in the county jail? You see what I'm saying? Because, and this is what I'm saying, the sheiks need to be challenging them issues and making sure that it's in there. That it's in there. That is represented. So that people going in even into the county jails, so that people even going into the county jails, if you're a Muslim, you end up going to the Nation of Islam service or Islamic service versus Moorish Science Temple. And we know they operate two totally different ways. Our religion is Islamism. That's not Islam. Our religion is the study of all religions. So yeah, we could go to a Christian service. We could go to Jumu'ah. But it's better for us to go to our own service to represent our prophet and what he bought us. And guess what? Maybe some of them people in some of them other services would want to come to the Moorish Science Temple in there to see what it's all about, to learn their nationality. But no sheiks has stepped up to the plate to make sure that it's being taught and that it's a Moorish Science Temple service in the county jails in Illinois or any other state. Or any other state.
I heard of things.
Point of interest.
I think that was Darnell. Yeah. Islam.
Yes, Islam, everybody. So, Brown Bay here. I was just wondering if, Mr. President, do you know if there are any vice lords on the East Coast Well, I'm referencing Virginia, really, but anywhere else on the East Coast?
Bloods is part of the Vice Lord family. Well, that's West Coast. Well, yeah, they got Bloods on the East Coast too, right?
Yeah, we got Paru, we got Hoover over here.
Yeah, that's part of the Vice Lord family. They part of the Vice Lord family.
Yes.
Yeah. Islam, any more questions?
I do have to say this or ask this. So, with the sheiks or sheikesses and or sheikesses not doing what they are supposed to be doing and teaching this to our people, is there some sort of encouragement we need to make to them? I know you got a lot of back and forth on Facebook that you do with sheiks and sheikesses, but do we need to have another established temple where it is kind of dedicated to that? And how do you establish a temple? I yield.
You know I'm a doer, so I may have to try to either encourage a sheik to do so, or being a member of the Moorish Science Temple of America, I may have to take that on myself, just being a member of the Moorish Science Temple of America. So everything starts with somebody pushing the envelope to get it done. So maybe if I start it, maybe I can turn it over to a sheik or something to go in there and finish out what I begin. You know what I'm saying? But the thing of it is it's like, a lot of people are sitting up bickering and fighting with each other and not really propagating the faith of Ali in America like it's supposed to be propagated. And one of the biggest ways would be to get it in every county jail throughout this country. If they have any other religious service there, how can they deny us having our religious service there?
All right. Agreed. Islam, was that someone wanting the floor? Okay. Well, I yield the floor with my point or question. Anyone else? Okay, Cannon Bay. Was there more to your presentation, or was that everything?
No, that was it.
Like this red and black. There's a sister. Your mic is open. Oh, it's in the background. Okay, I'm not sure she's noticing it. So, all right. Well, so if there's no more questions or commentaries that anyone wants to make, then the only thing we know what to do is to close out. So let me just ask again if there's anything that anyone would like to point out in regards to today's presentation, or maybe even just a question with regards to United States of America Republic. Anyone who's new on the line might have thought of something. Sounded like someone wanted to clear their throat to speak. Don't be shy. There's no question that we feel that shouldn't be answered. All questions are reasonable, suitable, and will be answered. Okay. All right. Well, we appreciate everyone who's attended our open forum tonight. And as normal, we have at the same time on Wednesdays at 5 o'clock p.m. Central Standard Time. So we look forward to seeing you next Wednesday. And for those who are part of United States of America Republic as members, we look forward to the calls that are taking place with regards to our other segments, our vice-gerents, our secretaries of state, our attorney generals, So please check your meeting schedules in order to have the details on which conference call and screen sharing link to use. So until we meet again, everyone, have a wonderful rest of the evening. May Allah always be with you, and peace and love to you all. We're going to go ahead and end our call here at 6:37 p.m.